after running a profitable campaign and was scaling the store to about 50K a month, suddenly got like an email from the creators of Dragon Ball Z saying, yo, take our products down or we're gonna send you a lawsuit. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your man Mohamed Camara, and you already know what time it is, man. We back at it again with yet another dropshipping video. Alright, so in the last video we talked about just Facebook ads. I showed you step by step how to set up your first campaign, what your ads should look like, and how it should feel towards your customers. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. I'm gonna link it up right here. But in this video, I want to talk about the top 10 dropshipping mistakes that a lot of beginners fall into, and it could cost you your business. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm gonna go over 10 mistakes that I've seen after mentoring over thousands and thousands of students. These are the common pitfalls that I'm seeing amongst beginning dropshippers. But before we get started, I do want to announce a giveaway once again. Shout out to all the giveaway winners, by the way. Okay, if you want to enter the giveaway to be mentored by myself, go ahead and leave a comment down below with what video you want to see next, any comment, suggestion. Then like the video, leave a hashtag Money Mafia in the comment that you're gonna leave down below, and that'll enter you into a giveaway to be mentored by me. I'll select one lucky person to join Econ Bootcamp 2.0 absolutely free, and I will announce the winner on my Instagram. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and wait for the next live. Alright, but let's get into the top 10 mistakes. So mistake number 1, biggest mistake that I see that is most common throughout all dropshipping stores, is going to be lack of shipping info, lack of information when it comes to shipping. This is the pitfall of dropshipping, which is the shipping speeds, the shipping time. A lot of customers don't want to wait weeks and sometimes even months just to receive their product, especially if they're being advertised to as if the product is going to come the next day. You want to make shipping your selling point, okay? First of all, you should be using CJ Dropshipping, which is my favorite supplier. They're gonna get you shipping times in less than 6 days. I'll link a video right here where I talk about my suppliers. I'll also link them down in the description below. You wanna make the slow shipping time a selling point too. Don't just put, okay, shipping time will take 14 to 15 days to arrive, whatever, okay? On your website, make it a selling point. Say, the shipping time is taking a long time because we're doing a thorough quality check. We want to ensure that you get the best product possible. You know, actually sell on the slow shipping because it is a weak point in dropshipping, and we just all have to admit that. Mistake number 2, this is going to be selling apparel as a complete beginner. A lot of people want to start like clothing businesses, especially beginning entrepreneurs. You probably have a clothing brand, so you think, hey, the best thing to do to build an online store is to just take my clothing brand and build a store for it. I understand that, and even I fell into this trap too because I used to own a clothing brand. The biggest mistake you could do is trying to sell apparel online as a beginner. Okay, I'm not saying don't sell it, but it shouldn't be your first product. The return rates on apparel is the highest among any industry, and that's not just dropshipping stores, that's even when you go to retail stores selling clothes and things like that. You don't want to deal with that as a complete beginner. It's just extra headaches you shouldn't have to deal with. 2, it's a lot of SKUs to keep up with. You're gonna have to have one t-shirt in a size small, extra small, medium, large, and that's just for one t-shirt. Okay, so you don't wanna have to deal with that. Make everything simple and streamlined in the beginning. And another thing is, when you're shipping from AliExpress or any of these like Chinese suppliers, the sizing info that they're gonna give you for the products is actually gonna be inaccurate because the clothing fits smaller over there. They go by a different system of measurements and everything like that. People tend to be a little bit more bigger in the US and Western society. The clothes is just not gonna fit, and that's gonna hurt your return rates even more. Mistake number 3 is setting super high expectations. Okay, people think that, okay, just because you can make $1 million in one day when it comes to dropshipping, that is going to absolutely happen for them. And I'm not here to crush anybody's dreams, okay? If you know that you're capable of doing it, go ahead. But only be that confident if you know you put in the work. There's other competition out there that's putting in countless hours of work that you're not putting in. There's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna have to deal with business-wise, just as an entrepreneur. This is a real business. And I always like to say, if you treat it like a side hustle, it's gonna give you side hustle results. If you treat it like a business, it's gonna give you business results. But in order to treat it like a business, You have to be ready to put in the work even when things aren't coming in, even when your product might have failed a couple times. Because all it takes is one product to make up for all the products that failed before. You can spend $500 testing 20 products. And what's that, like $10,000? And let's say all 20 of those products fail. But then the 21st product is gonna be the product that makes you like $10,000 per day. That's how this thing works, okay? So you have to realize that and just set your expectations to know, okay, I'm gonna get revenue, but it's another thing for me to be profitable. It's another thing for me to be able to scale this thing profitably, and it's gonna take time to do that. It might take you months, it might take you years. I've been dropshipping personally since 2017, and I've been fortunate enough to see results very early on in my dropshipping journey, but I know that that's not the case. I was surprised when that happened for myself. So just have realistic expectations. Try to aim for like maybe $10,000 per month by your 6th month, okay, dropshipping. I think that's very achievable, okay? But just be realistic. It all depends on your person, all depends on the product and your budget. Mistake number 4 is gonna be bad customer service, okay? People, as soon as they start getting their first couple sales, it's very exciting. You know, you realize, yo, I can never go back to working a regular job. And then people start to confuse people for data points, okay? It's one thing to analyze data, but those numbers is much more important than numbers. They're actual people. They're living people, human beings with actual emotions, okay? You have to make sure that you are taking care of every single customer. So make sure your customer service is on point. Don't go and just hire a customer service agent and then try to turn a blind eye towards the customer service at first. What you want to do is, yes, automate it, but you want to stay on top of it. You know, for the first 100 emails that come to your store, you want to answer those emails personally so that you can get a feel for what customers are actually going to be inquiring about. Most of the times it's going to be something as simple as changing the address on the recent order that was placed, you know, stuff like that. But you want to be familiar with that. You want to handle your customer service yourself at first and then automate it later. Mistake number 5, that's going to be not buying a sample for the product. Again, another benefit of dropshipping is that you don't have to worry about touching the product. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. You should know what the product feels like. You should know what the packaging feels like to the customer. And you should know what the buying experience from your store is going to feel like. I recommend buying a sample of the product. You can actually gauge whether it's a good product, whether the reviews are actually accurate. You can gauge what the shipping time is actually gonna be like. It's easy to say, yo, this product is gonna, you know, it's gonna arrive in 6 days. It's easy for your supplier to say that, but it's another thing for that to actually happen. So what I would do is I would go into my Shopify store after the product is already connected, and then I would make a discount for 100% off, and then I would use that discount code specifically for myself so that I don't have to pay anything, but then I can keep track of the order. And it's also beneficial because you get to fall into your emails and you get to see what your emails look like and if they're being delivered at the right time. It's basically like a test run for your store. So make sure you buy a sample of the product. Very, very, very important part. Mistake number 6. Okay, so this is gonna be pretty much not thinking of building a team. And this is a mistake that I've actually fell into. You know, as you start to make money in the beginning, you start to think, okay, I could do everything by myself. But there's a saying out there, it goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's very, very accurate. I've realized that I've been able to streamline a lot of processes, make things a lot more easier, and get more results. Very important part is getting more results. But I've been able to do all of that by building a solid team, okay? So customer service, social media management, advertisers to help me. Even though I'm good at advertising, I want advertisers to be on my side that know what I'm doing too. So if I'm not able to advertise for one of my stores, I can still get it done. Logistics manager, a project manager, an accountant, everybody's going to bring on additional revenue. That's how you have to see it. Every new person you bring on your team is gonna bring on additional revenue. And you might be saying, yo, I don't have enough money to hire somebody right now. Well, for those real crucial parts of your business, you might just want to give them a percentage of your business. I know it sounds like a lot and it is expensive, but if that's what you can afford at the time, so you can add on additional revenue, you should consider it. Mistake number 7 is really working with a bad third-party logistics. There's a trap I fell into at one point as well, And what I mean by that, if you don't know what a third-party logistics is when you try to buy the product in bulk. So this is when you realize, okay, you've done well with the drop shipping product, and now you want to buy it in bulk and store it in a warehouse and actually have them handle the shipping, the packaging, and everything in your domestic region. So that's what a 3PL does. It's a third-party logistics manager, and they basically warehouse, store, and fulfill your products. If you're going to go this route, I recommend going the route because it's actually going to give you more control, faster shipping, which is going to solve a lot of your problems and actually allow you to build a brand. But if you're going to do this, really vet that this 3PL can actually keep track of all your products. They're actually really good. They have good reviews and familiar working with the types of products that you work with. And they have an integration with Shopify so that orders can be synced manually and you don't have to deal with Excel sheets and CSV files. Really vet any warehousing partner that you're trying to deal with, because a lot of them are sloppy, right? And they're gonna have other clients that they're gonna prioritize over you, especially if you're not bringing in that much revenue for them. It just makes sense. But make sure you find them. There are good ones out there, okay? I really like working with private companies. Just Google a list of third-party logistics managers. I have a video on it. I'll link it over here maybe. Mistake number 8, retargeting. Retargeting. Y'all hear me say it in every single video. Retargeting is going to be where you can get the lowest hanging fruit of customers. You already spent a good amount of money trying to acquire a customer, putting a product in front of a customer's face, and for some reason they don't buy. It's more likely that they're gonna buy maybe on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th time even seeing the product. There's a stat out there, I think it's like, somebody has to see your brand like 7 times before they actually are gonna find you trustworthy and buy from you. So make sure that you throwing out your retargeting campaigns. Okay, best way to do this is to just throw out reviews of the product. Throw out reviews of people using the product as retargeting. That's on the Facebook ad side, but also set up email campaigns. This is gonna account for 15 to 20% of your revenue, and it's gonna be the most profitable revenue that you're gonna have. I've seen a lot of stores that I've just ran ads to, and yes, they were able to make sales. They might have broke even or even lost money. But as soon as I put on those retargeting campaigns and those retargeting emails, the store was suddenly profitable by like 20% margin. Very big and vital part of the business. Make sure you're doing your retargeting campaigns as early as possible. Mistake number 9 is gonna be falling into the trap of selling copyright stuff. Very interesting story. I had a student one time who was selling like DBZ apparel. So Dragon Ball Z, anime, kind of Naruto. Those are 2 mistakes right there. They were selling apparel, which is a lot of SKUs to deal with, and there was copyrighted stuff on it. And the crazy thing is that it was actually very profitable. But the reason why it's profitable is because they were living off the brand that other people had built. And nothing wrong with it, you know, you learn, you live and you learn, but you're really giving yourself a chance to get sued, because he did end up getting emails after running a profitable campaign and was scaling the store to about 50K a month. Suddenly got like an email from the creators of Dragon Ball Z saying, yo, take our products down or we're gonna send you a lawsuit. You know, you don't wanna be put in that position. So certain territories you don't wanna cross into, okay? So that would be branded products. You know, don't sell counterfeit items. Stay away from like custom artwork that are done by specific artists, especially if you're a print-on-demand type of person. Stay away from any of those copyright things. I would recommend getting some legal counsel if you have the means to do so you can help yourself avoid that. The last and final mistake number 10, is gonna be not starting. You can only be a dropshipper if you're actually dropshipping, right? Don't sit over here and watch videos on YouTube and try to wait for the right time and try to wait for having a certain amount of money and this. Start as soon as possible, okay? Because you don't know when this industry is gonna change. Everything is so easy. The barriers of entry is so low right now that you can actually benefit from just getting in there, getting your feet wet, okay? Get the experience. It's gonna require money, yes, but you gotta ask yourself, are you willing to go in debt for this? Are you willing to lose money? Are you willing to have a negative bank account balance in the start of your business? Because that's where I was. When I first started my business, I had $400 to my name. I have a video called How I Turned $400 into 1.3 million. I'm gonna link it right here. My first $400, I took it out of my bank account because my student loans was gonna come in, and it was gonna take that $400 out of my bank account. So I said, you know what? Instead of paying student loans, I'm just gonna take this out of my bank account. I'm gonna put it in my mom's bank account, and I hooked that up to Facebook ads, and I started running ads, and my store took off. It did $10,000 3 months after I started investing. Okay, check out that video if you want to see more info. But get started as soon as possible is my point. Okay, don't get stuck in the analysis paralysis, waiting for the perfect moment and waiting for the perfect opportunity. The opportunity does not come if you don't get started. You should have a store up right now. You should be doing product research. Check out my video on how to do product research. You should be running your ads within the next 2 days. Okay, it's no reason for you not to get started. Okay, so that's the biggest mistake of them all, is just not doing it. You're not even giving yourself a chance to it. Okay, but like I said, if you got some value out of this, make sure you leave a like down below. Show me some love, man. Money Mafia, where you at, man? Where the Mafia at? Leave a comment down below. Whatever you want to see next, let me know what you want to see in the next video. Leave a hashtag Money Mafia to enter the giveaway. Give me a follow on Instagram so you don't miss the live where I announce the winners. And in the next video, I want to talk about what differences iOS updates has made for Facebook ads. Okay, I'll talk about my personal experience with the iOS 14 updates, but we'll touch on that next week. In the meantime, watch this video right here. Check it out. It might be really helpful for you. And you already know what time it is, man. It's your man, Mohamed Camara. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm gone.